The following is a presentation of the ForceCenter podcast feed.
As Obi-Wan Kenobi once said, hello there, and welcome to Databank Brawl, the podcast where we learn about Star Wars characters, discuss them, share our feelings, and then make those characters fight for our amusement and yours. I'm your host. My name is Joseph Scrimshaw. With me, as always, is Ken Napzok.
Happy to be here. 118 episodes. That's hard to believe. This little idea that started as a fun little improv game on the podcast forums. And every week, I don't know where we're going to take it, and it's gotten even weirder recently, which I love.
It gets weirder and weirder. We had such a solid reaction from our fans, which I appreciate, to our love story.
I thought that was one of my favorite ones.
It was a beautiful one. If you're just listening for the first time, you don't know which one is a love story, just go through it and look and guess which one is a love story. Click on it and find out.
It's a good contest.
We'll see if this one is a love story. I suspect not. I suspect this won't be a love story. We got a good one. I got a little bit of whiskey, sometimes guest here on Databank Brawl, just a little sip.
Yeah.
A little sip. And Ken, you're working on some...
I am not whiskey, and I've got electrolyte, which sounds bad, but I get this at my old 7-Eleven. Joseph, it has a scientific formula.
Oh,
it's not a sponsor.
It's made from science.
It's made from science. Premium hydration. If you get some Pedialyte, if you have a child or like I did for a while, a ferret, this is an adult version of that.
Okay,
and
nice.
We had a fun day. At the time of this recording, we had a fun day this weekend.
Yeah.
Doing a taco crawl. I'm still feeling the effects.
This is some tacos and some alcohol. I love that it's called electrolyte. Like it's trying to make it sound really hip and fun. Like, do you like to be fully hydrated? It's time to get electrolytes. Get hydrated.
It says it has 6 ions in it. Standby ion control.
Firing into Ken's very body, the ions. Anyway, that's enough about what we're firing into our bodies. This is what's going to be fired out there into the world as Databank Brawl. Are you ready for your first combatant?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is a character that I'm tired of scrolling past when I look in the databank, so it's time for this character to fight. Our first combatant is Po Nudo.
Po Nudo.
Do you want a spelling? Okay, you got Po Nudo.
He pops up.
He pops right up. All right, here's what the databank says. Po Nudo was a male Aqualish whose allegiances to the Galactic Republic shifted over the course of his tenure in politics. At the time the Trade Federation invaded Naboo, he served in the Galactic Senate representing his homeworld of Ando, but met with Count Dooku and other separatists on Geonosis on the eve of the Clone Wars to join their Confederate cause. His involvement with the Sith ended poorly, as he was executed unceremoniously by Darth Vader on Mustafar in the final days of the war.
Po Nudo.
Po Nudo.
All right.
What a name. What a guy. What a name.
What a presence. What a presence.
What an important character in the canon of Star Wars.
Yeah.
What do you got in the wilds of Wikipedia there?
Well, let's go to what he actually... I don't like it when they don't give us some of the real stats here.
The basic stats, the height.
Basic stats. Yeah, they want to have that. We got Homeworld and died. We know when he died in canon. Species, Aqualish, like you said, male. Hair color brown, though. That's a stretch.
Some wisps up there, right?
Wisps.
I mean, this is not a hairy guy.
Eye color black. Eyes color black because he's got 4. And skin color brown, which is accurate. It doesn't account for his tusks. Yeah, so that's the stats there. The appearance. So Aqualish, they're around in Star Wars. They've been around. They've been around. You might know what they look like. But this particular Aqualish. So imagine Dennis Muren, the great, one of the designers of Star Wars. There's actually an alien designed after Dennis Muren in Rogue One, but imagine that. And also Balon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. And Ben Franklin. Actually, Ben Franklin, Balon Greyjoy, and Dennis Muren have combined to be this alien creature. So bald head, wispy hair on the sides, long, down to his almost shoulders or bottom of his neck.
Yeah, a little Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, a lot of it there. And then this double face. Because if you just block part of it out, he's got like a really scrunched up, kind of like a nose, but 4 eyes, 2 on the top, larger, 2 where maybe our cheeks would be is humanoids. He's got eyes there, and these big walrus-like tusks.
Big, huge tusks.
But he is more insect. I was going to say Insecticon, like a transformer.
Insectoid?
Insectoid was, but my mind went to the 80s.
Insecticon? So I had one of those.
Yeah, exactly. So the tusks are less walrus-like and more spider Shelob-like to me.
Oh, yeah. And then he's just got robes. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little armor. That seems like letting you know, hey, I might betray you. I'm wearing armor. That's not good. But yeah, he's a great evolution just visually on the original Aqualish of Po Nudo, Walrus Man, right?
Yeah. And I'm reading a little bit behind the scenes. So he did Po Nudo, appeared in Phantom Menace, uncredited and unnamed. The character first received a name in Star Wars Legends and the novel Cloak of Deception, which was written by the great James Luceno.
Yeah.
One of the great Star Wars authors out there, canon and Legends, which was released in 2001. So then the character then appears in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. And played by an uncredited extra in both. That should be, Jamie Stangram's doing that documentary about Empire, the stormtrooper that hit the door. This should be the next one.
Who was Po Nudo?
Nudo.
I definitely need Jamie Stangram to track down the original Poe.
The original Po Nudo, yeah.
Did you know there was a Poe before Poe in Star Wars? There was. Pre-Poe, Po Nudo. Pre-Poe is probably another character's name that I will eventually discover on the StarWars.com databank. Yeah. Any other details about his character, or is that pretty much all we know?
That is
in canon.
All we know. Well, let's see. He just want to double check. He doesn't appear in like Clone Wars. So no, some of the stuff that's going on here is just recapping. What's wrong with me? Recapping.
You're electrolyte.
Yeah, I'm electrolyte. Recapping Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. Now, I want to think that Po Nudo was leading this representative of Aqualish that he is. I believe in Phantom Menace when all the Aqualish do the weird little arm dance, almost like cheerleaders when they cheer for, I think, the call of the vote of no confidence.
Yes.
I think.
You're right.
But I have a strong memory of look at those weird aliens doing that weird alien thing that means yay to them.
Great pull. That is it. That's because I couldn't place him upon pulling up the picture of Po Nudo. I understand where he is, but that is right. That is right.
Yeah.
And they do that. Yeah. Wish more politicians in the real life did that.
It would make us all get along better if our politicians said hoo-ha, hoo-ha, when they agreed or disagreed with things. Do you have any feelings about Po Nudo?
So I don't have any specific feelings because until that moment, I probably couldn't have placed him in the Star Wars galaxy. And we have talked about some of the other, the forgotten separatists. We focus on our Sandhills and Wat Tambors and, of course, our beloved Nemodians. So I have, my feeling is I almost feel sorry for them. They're the forgotten heroes of the Separatist Council.
Yeah, and in canon at least, I don't know what Poe was up to in Cloak of Deception, but I'm kind of intrigued by this character who really did think wow, I'm not really aware of anything too nefarious, but I really think the Republic's wrong, and I'm going to jump sides, and I feel it's better for my planet Ando. And did Po Nudo mean well and still end up just being slaughtered by Darth Vader?
There is something in Newt Gunray's final moments where he's like, but Darth Sidious promised us peace. This is a bad guy and a bad character. He's probably done a lot of bad things in the Star Wars story. But I remember in that moment thinking, oh, yeah, I forget. Palpatine sold them lies, too.
Yeah.
So, you could look at something like Po Nudo and his wispy hair and think, maybe he wanted to make a difference and he just disagreed with the Republic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's amazing that some of the images that come up, he does have brown wispy hair, but his main image, he's got white wispy hair.
Yeah.
Like he has been through hell. Absolute hell. He's a before and after, like they do of presidents.
Look
how young this person looked when they took the office. That's why you never join separatists, kids.
Never.
Your hair will go white and you'll get killed on Mustafar.
Yeah.
Don't do it. All right, any other thoughts before we move on to our next combatant?
That's great.
All right, another combatant that I've scrolled by a lot who is more interesting and has more depth than I thought. Po Nudo will face Appo. Appo. Here's what the databank says. A clone trooper in Republic service, Appo took part in a number of critical battles during the fight against the Separatists. As a sergeant, he served under General Pong Krell on Umbara and saw firsthand Krell's willingness to throw away the lives of his troops. In the final days of the war, Appo accompanied Anakin Skywalker to Coruscant's Jedi Temple as part of Order 66. When Senator Bail Organa arrived during the aftermath of the temple attack, Appo told him of the Jedi Rebellion and ordered him to leave the area. I think I said his name 3 different ways. Appo, probably Appo. Appo.
And as someone who fed his dogs with Alpo in the 80s, it's confusing me. Okay. I'm aware of Appo. I wouldn't say very aware, but I'm aware of
Appo. You say Appo.
I say Appo.
Yeah. All right, we'll stick with Appo.
It's like an Apple iPod Appo.
Or we could say Appo, and then we'd have 2 Po's.
We'd have Po Nudo
but we'll stick with Appo. All right, so you were aware of all of these connections.
I forget, like, again, I wouldn't say was very aware. Like, the fact that he's the one talking to Bail Organa in Revenge of the Sith, I was aware that was a named clone, connected. Stats, we do have stats from him. Homeworld, of course, Camino, technically. Human clone, gender male, 1.83 meters, which would probably be the standard clone size, I suppose. Hair color black, eye color brown, skin color tan is how they say it there. Looking at his face, he's got a buzz cut. A lot of clones have different haircuts. Some have tattoos. He's got the buzz cut, a haircut you can set your watch to, as they said on The Simpsons about Johnny Unitas. Good old classic buzz cut there. Clean facial hair, no beard or anything like that. No Rex beard yet.
Not yet. And then when he's all helmeted up, he's blue, right?
He is blue, yes. Armor with the blue affix.
Yeah, so he's got a little bit of stylization on the armor, or do you think that's entirely just representing rank?
I think it's little style. I'm looking at his helmet, and
I mean, I know the colors were for different ranks,
organizations
and all that. Yeah. I personally do not have all this memorized.
I don't either.
It's a trivia weakness.
Appo's Phase 2 armor sported the blue markings of the 501st Legion, we know. But yeah, looking at his helmet, I wonder how personalized it is. I don't know. Good question.
Yeah, because Rex is certainly personalized. Rex is blue, but has obviously the cool markings. Awesome. So this character, I partially picked him because it's like, oh, cool. Name works well with Po Nudo and Appo, and they're of the same era. But then when I was digging in, that's one of my favorite arcs of the Clone Wars by far. That Pong Krell arc. It's so dark. It's so horrible. You feel the plight of the clones, and a great twist on how the Jedi are feeling about this darkness, where he has had this vision that the Jedi are going to fall, the Republic's going to fall, and then maybe Pong Krell, that maybe the other side is right.
Yeah.
And then for me, it is one of the trickier parts of Star Wars to have know these clones, to relate to these clones, and then they slaughter the Jedi. Mm-hmm. Particularly knowing that he marched into the temple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the wonderful dark undertones of Revenge of the Sith or stuff like that.
Yeah. So how do you feel about this character and connecting to all these important moments and arcs?
I like him, and that Pong Krell arc is one of the better arcs in Clone Wars. It's a very realistic version. It was one of the stories that came a little bit later, right? Was it in Season 5?
4 or 5 to my recollection, but I don't know off the top of my head.
There's so many Clone Wars episodes to choose from. I like the realistic take. I love the progression of the clones are these manufactured fighting machines, but they're people. And that there would be some people who just go, you're clones. You're cannon fodder, you're blaster fodder, and we got a job to do. Even that and that Obi-Wan and Anakin did form these connections with it. That's why I think that Order 66 sequence is one of the sadder things in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And watching Ki-Adi-Mundi flip around and just have this moment of no, like Bob, Ted, Steve,
friends. Yeah,
we had a good
please.
time. It does, and so Appo, gets wounded by Zukasa there. Is it Zu or Zu?
Jukasa,
Jukasa, yeah. He just know he's there, know he's helping to. He would have shot Bail Organa, and this is a guy who was one of the good guys.
Yeah,
that chip activates, and this is what you're going on, and now your mission is this. It adds some darkness to the Clone Wars and Revengeance.
Yeah. And it's fascinating to think about with the chip. Like, it gets activated, right? And they just believe this. They have to obey this command. It's activated. But then do their experiences help? That Anakin always seemed to be on their side. Anakin would always go over the top to save them.
Oh.
And then other Jedi were kind of distant. And then Pong Krell tried to kill them all.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, is there a part of a character like Appo is like, well, this feels right on some level.
I like that take a lot. That's interesting to think that Vader's Fist, the 501st, it's so cool. We know it. It's this fan group that rises up and gets put in the canon. We all know that story. But in story to see that these are guys who fought along someone who actually cared about them.
Yeah.
That makes it a lot easier to think that, you want us to march in there? And those guys are now, they're doing things against you. I mean, like that a-hole Pong Krell?
Yeah.
We're on board.
And you're one of the Jedi we trust.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a deep, complex thing to think about. Is there anything else in Wikipedia in his canon tab that fleshes him out more? He's not finished off by Zet, is he? Is he killed?
No, he's wounded.
He's wounded, okay.
So he would go on. I'm trying to look through here. So he's still probably going on.
He's still, all right.
Yeah, I mean, there's, managed to kill several. No, he's officially alive, so he could show up again. He could show up in Resistance.
Very old Appo. Well, with Dave Filoni's influence, who knows?
Yeah.
You never know. All right, any other thoughts or feelings about this character?
No, it's going to be an interesting fight here.
All right, and with that, let's fight. So, as always, we like to have it before any of the characters canonically died. So, we know that Po Nudo is going to be slaughtered by Darth Vader on Mustafar. Sometimes we have the challenge of how could these characters ever come to even meet each other? This one's a little bit more, they're on two sides of a war.
Yeah.
So, the where and the when and the how is, it's going to be fun.
So, what do we got? What do we got to work with? Attack of the Clones. So we got somewhere in there, right?
Yeah. Okay. So,
all right. The Clones launch. Begun these Clone Wars have. I think there might be, in my mind, this idea that Appo, I think I've said it differently now, Appo is part of a strike team going into extract, like maybe go execute some hard targets. This is one of those, maybe the dark side of the Republic, much like they go after Dooku with an assassination mission with Quinlan Voss. Maybe like, we need to send in an agent, and we need to start undercutting the legs of the Separatist Council.
Yeah, I like this. Maybe it is that there is a ship that is disguised and forcibly docks with a transit of Ando Separatists.
Okay.
That Po Nudo is on. And do you think is it just Appo, or is it a couple of clones?
I think there could be a couple.
So they're going to board this ship, and they're going to take out.
That's the mission.
Wow.
General Draven would be proud.
General Draven heard this story and was like, yep, that's the way you got to fight.
It's just this dark side. You're on this list, you're not coming off it unless you're dead.
Yeah, maybe this is even like maybe Palpatine quietly ordered this to, set some tension between the Jedi of like, that's not how we fight.
Oh, I like that.
We don't assassinate, but all right. But these clones are plucked away.
Yep.
And they're sent. Mm-hmm. Is Appo in charge, do you think?
Appo was in charge. He's the command of two other clones, little strike team here.
Okay, what are those other clones' names, do we think?
We've got triple twos.
All right, triple twos.
Yeah, because he's CC-222 is his Clone War designation. So triple twos, they call him twos as well. And then we got Fred.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. He tripped once, and that's just the noise that came out of his mouth. Fred. And like, all right, you're Fred from now on.
Your name's Fred.
Clumsy Fred. All right, so Appo is leading triple twos and Fred into this ship. Now, I think they've docked. Those great sparks have gone off as the door explodes, right? Yep. And they just come right in, and I think they're... All right, sorry, but do put down any weapons.
Sorry. If you don't mind, please. Twos, shut up. Okay.
Appo is shocked himself as he realizes that he doesn't feel morally okay with this. So it comes out of his mouth right away. It's like this first thing is like, sorry, but we're here to end your lives. Please participate willingly.
And there's
and Fred and Triple Twos are a little like what?
Look at each other. Yeah. There's two Aqualish royal defenders is what they're called. They're Aqualish version. They're Po Nudo's royal guard in a way. And even though he's not elected or anything, but it's like his private bodyguards, the Aqualish royal defenders. And that just means they have a little bit more hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what kind of weapons do you think the royal defenders have?
Like a pitchfork. Just imagine it's a little pitchfork, and there's three separate blaster muzzles there.
Oh, okay. It's a blaster fork.
It's like a blaster fork. That's a
nice.
great way. It's a BF 100 blaster fork.
BF 100. That is not your best friend.
No.
100 times. No. That is a blaster fork.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a pretty open layout to this ship. Right in the center, there's this kind of a conference room.
Okay.
And I think, as it turns out, there aren't a bunch of other diplomats. It's just Po Nudo alone with his guards.
And Po Nudo was having a snack.
Yeah.
He kind of eats it's like a bowl of live crawfish.
He's just stuffing it into whatever his mouth is under that tusk.
It reminds me of Lips Manless in Dick Tracy, in the 89 movie Dick Tracy, where I think it's Paul Sorvino's playing Lips Manless, just eating those oysters.
That's right. So that's what Appo and Triple Twos and Fred see. They burst into this conference room, and they see these two defenders with these blaster forks. Weird technology.
Yeah.
The BF-100s. And then sitting at this conference table alone, Po Nudo is reaching his little hands in, and then he's just shoving worms under his tusks, and then there's a...
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, but then when Po Nudo sees this, he goes, and a bunch of them shoot out.
Oh,
it's very gross.
It's
very upsetting. Don't ever eat lunch while watching or listening to Databank Brawl.
Don't ever eat space crawfish. So the defenders have their guns up. There's an odd stalemate immediately. Blasters are up on our clones.
Yeah,
blaster forks are up from our royal defenders, and crawfish all over the table.
Yeah,
no one's moving for a second. And I think Appo you're right. It's already starting to weigh on him. This is late in the game here in the Clone Wars. And the fact that they're on this little hit squad, it's not, Triple Twos is like loving it. Fred, he's just a happy-go-lucky guy. Falls.
I think he's not a perfect clone. He's got some genetic issues that cause him to do a lot of pratfalls.
Yeah. But Appo's like, he says it again. Please come with me.
Put down your crawfish, and I mean, if there's anyone you'd like to call first, I do need. I have to eliminate you. That's what I'm here for. It's not pretty, but it's war. It's war. Yeah, and I think exactly Triple Twos is like, let's take him out, and I think Po Nudo says,
is that his language or the crawfish?
A little of both.
A little column A, a little column B.
Yeah, I think it's mostly his language.
Perfect.
It's like if Wilford Brimley had 800 marbles in his mouth.
He sounds like some of the voices in Uncle Albert from Paul McCartney.
But it gets translated, I think.
Okay. Well, they did the helmets, right?
Yeah. Which is, and he's basically saying, like, this is against the laws of our war. We're not doing. You can't assassinate me. I'm a political leader. I have value as a prisoner, even if you're going to take me prisoner, you can't do this. And, I'm actually on the way to go see my sick child.
Yeah. Sick child.
And
does he do it like that? My sick child.
Yeah, I think it's not terribly believable.
Okay.
So I think this is just kind of tearing Appo apart because he kind of knows it's wrong. He knows this guy is full of shit. Excuse my swearing. And I think what happens before anything else can happen is one of those worms that got spat out.
Yeah.
It's rolling across the floor. And what do you know? Fred takes a nervous step forward. He slips. His blaster goes off. And he shoots one of the Royal Defenders right through the eyes. All of them. Right in the center of the face.
Dead?
Oh, dead. Smoking dead. Yeah.
Blaster fork drops to the ground.
Blaster fork drops to the ground. And I think at this point, what do you think happens next?
I think in a scene reminiscent of Young Guns 2, this guy goes down and the other Royal Defender looks over at him and realizes it's on. And in that split second that he looks over, Triple Twos has to fire. Boom! And just clears him out right away.
Oh, but I think that blaster fork goes off as he falls.
Yes.
I think maybe
blaster forks are known for their inability to not be fired by accident.
Yeah.
They go off all the time.
Go off easy. And I think just it peppers how many prongs? 4?
3 prongs.
Three prongs. Mm-hmm. All 3 of them straight into Fred.
Poor Fred.
Fred is just, if there's an opposite of the force, if he had an anti-luck field around him.
He had the farce around him.
He had the farce. And indeed, it is a farce. He gets shot and he falls and he hits his head on the table and his helmet comes off and that flies up and it hits him in the ass. It is the least graceful death ever. And it just is reminding Appo of the horror and the stupidity of war.
Right.
This needs to end, he's thinking.
So he's, 2 Royal Defenders are down, right?
Yeah. In theory, he should be happy.
His mission, he could pull the trigger right now.
Anytime, yeah.
So he steps forward and he points the clone blaster at Po Nudo and just says, I'm going to take you with me. I'm going to take you in. Thinking, all right, I know they want me to kill him, but maybe I can't do that. So I'm going to take you in. And it's in that moment that Appo learns a painful lesson that the fork on Po Nudo's plate next to the space crawfish is also a mini blaster fork.
Oh, no.
So with a squeeze, boom, knocked right into his face, knocks his helmet off, and knocks him to the ground.
Okay.
It's a small little, like a Derringer.
Okay, so it doesn't crack the defenses of the helmet.
No.
It maybe literally cracks the helmet.
The
heads-up display is fritzing out. Yeah, and this is all Triple Twos needed. He wants murder, right? So I think Triple Twos opens up, and he's in for yet another surprise. Po Nudo is wearing just an amazing amount of armor.
Yeah.
And the blast hits him square in the chest, but the energy is spread out across this armor, and he learns an even bigger surprise. Po Nudo is a master of Terrascasi. And I think he does a sudden flip over the table. His long robe flows up in the air, and Po Nudo lands with his legs wrapped around Triple Two's head, does a twist, and cracks Triple Two's neck.
Done?
Done. He's dead.
Wow, we're getting brutal today, and I love it.
Po Nudo, secret master of Terrascasi. He stands up and he goes, hoo, ha, hoo, ha, hoo, ha. And he does this alarming dance. And suddenly...
Like a war dance almost now.
Yeah.
Not too unsimilar from a political dance as well. So
politics is war.
Politics is war. So, so this Appo is on the ground, right? But he's
he's, I think, recovering. Okay. I think that maybe he whips his helmet off because it's malfunctioning.
Yeah, it's one of the eyepieces is cracked. Everything. Yeah, he does whips it off. And now he's just staring into the eyes of Po Nudo as he's doing this war dance.
And where do you think Appo is at emotionally at this point? Does you feel like now his brothers have died and he's got that sense of pride? Do you think he's frightened? Because he was gonna buck his orders and take Po Nudo in instead of just assassinating him. But where do you think he's at now? Self-defense?
Po Po Nudo is also a good meal if you order. It's the number 2 over at the local restaurant I get. Po Nudo is a little bit of fight or flight. He's self-defense, indeed. He has no reason to believe, but it runs deeper. He has no reason to believe Appo's words. Dooku says those clones are spawn of the Jedi in a weird way.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, those clones, we can't trust them.
My favorite Legends novel.
Spawn of the Jedi. We can't trust them. And, Po Nudo is also, he wants the war to end. He's doing this. He's convinced. His convictions lead him to believe that he's doing the right thing for his people.
Okay.
So who is right in this moment? He's not going to take the time to find out.
Okay. I like this. So he just charges Appo, right?
Yes.
And Appo is at this point probably just fighting for his life, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at 222s. This is not good.
He's got, okay. So how do you think Po Nudo attacks?
I think as he runs, so is Appo still on the ground? Or has he got up?
He got up.
Maybe he got up. Okay.
Yeah.
Scrambles to his feet. Po Nudo comes running at him, and just when Appo trains his blaster up and thinks he's going to fire right at him, Po Nudo dives to the right and does a cartwheel. But the cartwheel does like a little moon eclipse type of circle there, a little half circle. And he just cartwheels into Appo.
So just kicks him in the face.
Yeah, it's the Terrascasi wheel of death.
Okay, so he kicks him in the face, he punches him in the face. He's just this spinning, just ball of death. And Appo, I think, is at this point realizing that he is in a fight for his life.
Yeah.
He was wrestling with his morals before. Now it is a fight for his life. And I think what he does is he pulls up his blaster, and then Appo really looks at it. His nose is bleeding. He wipes it. He looks at his blaster, and he's like, no. Honor matters.
Yeah.
You hit me with your feet, with your hands. I will hit you the same way.
Oh.
And he tosses the blaster aside, and he's like, I'll show you what clones are made of.
This is what's known in the warfare world as foot for foot fighting.
Foot for foot fighting.
Yeah.
And I think I think there's sometimes jokes that go around that the clones are just they're tin soldiers with guns. Anybody could do that. And he, in that moment of honor, he wasn't proud about this assassination thing. Right. He wants to reclaim his honor.
Right.
For my brothers, for honor. For the Republic. Yeah. Take one in the eye. And I think he does this big, obvious swing that Po Nudo gets out of the way of, and then brings, with his other hand, does a sharp jab with his fingers into one of Po Nudo's eyes.
Bottom left eye.
Bottom left eye. Poke.
And it makes a horrible sound, like a grape being squished in a fruit basket. Worse than the space crawfish. And Po Nudo just tumbles back. It makes a Jerry Lewis sound.
If Jerry Lewis was a walrus.
Eyeballs flavin'.
My lower eyeball even.
Falls back into the wall. But though he's in great pain, and so Appo, much like Henry Cavill in Mission Impossible, takes a step forward and gets his fists all ready.
Oh, he reloads his arms.
Reloads his arms.
Nice.
Appo's not a master of Terrascasi. Po Nudo is. So he responds with, he blocks Appo's punches with ease and counters with a Terrascasi throat punch.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah. Later called the Kira punch.
The Kira punch,
The Kira punch. Boom. Just, boom, jabs him. Appo's choking now.
He's choking. And Po Nudo is enjoying this. Hoo-ha, hoo-ha, hoo-ha.
A lot of hoo-has.
And, and Appo's wishing that he had his own kind of battle cry, but he can't even make a noise right now. So
right.
Honor. So he realizes that he is physically outmatched. But here is what people don't understand about clones. Mm-hmm. It's not just marksmanship. Right. It's not just brawn. It is intelligence and strategy and heart.
Yeah.
So he lets Po Nudo close in on him. And just rain blows down on every vulnerable part. Po Nudo is hitting Appo in the head. He's hitting him right where he knows the armor doesn't really connect and driving his little fingers in there. And, he's just taking abuse just so he can get Po Nudo close.
That's a good strategy.
A good hold on Po Nudo's robes.
Yeah.
And I think he does just a massive jerk.
Of the robes down? Like ripping the robes off?
I'll leave it to you. What do you think, now that he's got this advantage, how can he do the most damage by getting a big handful of robe?
Here's what I think here's what I went to. He does, a big jerk, as you say, but he jerks the robes up.
Oh, nice.
Over, and knows that this guy has now 3 functioning eyes. Let's make sure he has none. And
none.
He covers, it's like he's giving him a wedgie almost. He's like pulling the robe up over Po Nudo's face.
Yeah.
Exposing whatever Kenner toy Emperor Palpatine Royal Guard jumpsuit underneath. And then he can punch him even more. But that's the key thing. Just cover his face.
Yeah.
Take away his sight.
Yeah, he's punching away, and Po Nudo is starting to get hurt, and Po's like, and Appo now doesn't know because he doesn't have his helmet, but what Po Nudo is saying is, fool, I don't need my eyes to defeat you. I am a master of Terrascasi. So I think Po Nudo then starts lashing out some more, and Appo has even more great strategy.
Yeah.
Po Nudo's not bothering to bring the robes down. He's just lashing out. So Appo backs away.
Okay.
And he picks up the body of Fred.
Wow, that's a good deadlift. Literally.
Oh, yeah. And he throws the flailing dead body of Fred at Po Nudo. And Po Nudo starts attacking Fred, thinking this is Appo.
I think so. It works as a distraction.
It works as a distraction. And now I think Po Nudo is just pummeling. And he's pummeling away. I think this might be a good point, as we often do, to pause in our combat.
Yeah.
And decide who we think would win in this fight, who we think deserves to win, all those kind of things.
I think Appo deserves to win because he's a good cat. He's got some moral dilemmas merging in his somewhat pre-programmed brain, and I think that's a good spot to be in life. We all sometimes, whether we know it or not, maybe have some hard wiring in there from childhood, and to have some critical thought and think outside that is an interesting lesson for us here at Databank Brawl to go into. And Appo's going through some things right now. However, I got to say, I think Po Nudo was more capable of winning this fight than I thought he would.
Yeah.
He is a master of Terrascasi.
We didn't know that going in.
We did not know that.
We just discovered that.
Yeah.
Matt, so you think that Po Nudo would physically win the battle, but morally Appo would win?
Yeah.
I'm liking that because I don't want to kill Po Nudo because he lives on, or Appo.
Appo, they both technically, it's never stopped us before, but, he is a clone. But
He's a clone. But clones are individuals, and I want to make a clone of a clone and say that's Appo too. Appo's Appo.
Are you Appo or Appo?
It could be his cousin, Appo.
Appo.
But I want them to live.
Okay. You are the game master here.
Yeah. Me and my whiskey are feeling love of life. I want life to continue.
Good.
All right. So Appo has a moral victory while physically losing the battle is the story we want to tell. Do you have a vision of how that begins to play out?
It does. I do. Appo, we'll see. Po Nudo kind of recovers from, I'm trying to remember exactly where we were in the battle.
He was slamming onto
the
Fred. And I really think Appo had an opportunity to retreat, to strike, to do something.
He does. Appo backs up again, maybe I need to go for my blaster. And Po Nudo is so good with Terrascasi, just boom, 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 boom. The body of Fred is punched even more.
Pulverized.
Poor Fred.
Oh,
poor triple
Fred. Fred's even doing slapstick in death.
Yeah.
It's weekend at Fred's. It's sad.
It's hilarious. Po Nudo, with a surprisingly sprightly leap, jumps onto the table, grabs Appo by the back of his uniform, and forces his face into the bowl of space crawfish, which is pretty big. There's a lot of space crawfish in there.
Do you think the robes are still over Po Nudo's head, or has he removed them now?
He's got them down. Maybe he's still, you ever try to change a bed sheet? You're just like, where does the right end up?
He's wearing folded robes.
He's wearing
fitted robes.
which end is the right way? He gets it down, but that's what's going on right now. So he's like...
He is choking, yeah. So how can Appo get out of this with his life, if not his honor?
I think through the muffled sounds of the space crawfish being, sloshed about, I think he wants to say, he tells Po Nudo, tries to communicate, like, stop.
I think maybe he does like a tap out.
He taps out. The universal sign for, I've had enough crawfish. And I think Po Nudo kind of stops, lifts his head up, and throws him back to the ground.
Yeah.
And gets like a hoo-ha, like a stance.
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready to go.
It's the killing stance,
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think Appo says, wait, I'll let you go. You just tell everybody that, don't say what happened here today.
Yeah, like
I got to report something, though, back to my supervisors.
Keep your secret that you are a master of Terraskasi.
Oh, yeah.
If you will keep the secret of my defeat.
Right.
And that I did not immediately follow my orders to murder you. Secret. We are both warriors. We fight on different sides.
Right.
But we are both warriors, and clearly honor means something to both of us.
Right.
We could live to fight another day.
Mm-hmm.
And Po Nudo responds by saying, but I feel like he kind of acts it out a little bit, maybe get some charades going to communicate what he means. Yeah. What do you think Po Nudo wants? Because I think he feels like you marched in here and tried to kill me. You killed my defenders. These guys don't come cheap. I have to train them. What does Po Nudo want to let Appo live?
Yeah. He, first of all, grabs Appo's blaster, like tosses it out, like the back, like Appo can't get the blaster. Po Nudo communicates to Appo saying, look, I do want you to tell the world of what you've seen here today.
Ooh.
I want you to live so that you may tell the Republic that the Separatists will not go quiet into the night. You tell them who I am and tell them they cannot defeat me. And then, boom, punches him right in the face again.
Punches him right in the face, right.
Not Terraskasi, just a punch.
Just an old school, old punch. He crosses all universes, all cultures, a punch in the face.
Yeah.
And I think that is a bridge too far for Appo.
Ooh.
But I think he's conflicted, he's tormented. Mm-hmm. I think he knows that you have to fight to live another day. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to die here. There's nothing honorable about dying here.
Right.
He failed this mission. So I think he takes the punch. And I think he does one of those real, stares Po Nudo down in all three function eyes and does the big wipe away of the bloody nose.
Yeah.
He's like, fine. And I think he's like, I'll be going back to my ship now. And I'll tell the Republic that they have a bigger enemy than they thought, a more capable enemy than they thought in Po Nudo. But I think as he's walking out and getting to his ship, it just happens that a thermal detonator just drops out of his belt, and it just happens to clink down the halls. Clink. As Appo gets in his own ship, pulls away, and flies away with an attempted assassination of Po Nudo. Because after all of the torture that Appo went through, I think he went through a journey of what is honor, what is service, what is the right thing to do, and he came back around to, you gotta stick to the mission. So he was going to try to blow Po Nudo up as he went. Yeah. I don't think it works.
Doesn't work.
What do you think happens?
It explodes. Now, Po Nudo sees with his Terraskasi training, which also includes quick reactions.
Oh, yeah.
Quick thinking. It's not just physical, it's critical thinking skills. He makes a leap out of the conference room into the small pilots. I guess there is a pilot there. He was asleep. Didn't want to join the fight.
Not a good listener.
Not a royal defender. No, he was listening to some Aqualish music in a podcast, a true crime Aqualish podcast. He presses. So Po Nudo presses the eject button, and only his capsule goes out.
Oh yeah.
Boom! So his ship explodes, and Po Nudo's capsule's floating through space, and he's punching in the coordinates to head to General Grievous and the Invisible Hand.
That's right, and tell him that it is time to end this war.
Yeah.
And I think as Po Nudo is reflecting, he's proud of his actions. He misses his royal defenders.
And his blaster fork.
He's
Gonna have to get a new one.
He's going to have to get a cybernetic eye.
Yeah.
A lower left eye. And he says to himself, thinking over he just wanted better for his people. He just wanted better for the planet of Ando. And he thinks through it all. He says quietly and sadly to himself, hoo-ha. The cost of war. Hoo-ha. 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 I think we learned a lot today.
We did learn a lot.
On this episode of Databank Brawl. You have any other cutscenes? Do you think that's the end of the story for you?
No. I just think maybe Palpatine looks over an after-action report from General Grievous and says, I think this Po Nudo character, we need to take him out.
Yeah.
I have a plan down the line.
He's high on the death list.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. And his Teräs Käsi did not save him from Darth Vader on Mustafar, did it? No. In your face, Po Nudo. Well, that was a fun one and a surprising one. And now that we've made one character a random master of Teräs Käsi, that's dangerous. With much power comes much responsibility,
new precedent
right?
Here. Yeah, new precedent.
We can't have an episode where C.O. Bibble's a master of Teräs Käsi. C.O. Bibble has fought before and died horribly. If you want to go check that episode out. Anyway, always let us know if there's characters that you want to see fight. You can use the hashtag Databank Brawl. We got some episodes coming up with a fun guest, and I think for at least one of those episodes, I think I'm going to do something super crazy.
Ooh.
Even by Databank Brawl standards. We'll see how it all pans out. But Ken, where can people find you?
I mean, you can find me intrigued about what's coming. This is the show where a gonk droid has trampled someone to death, right?
C.O. Bibble.
C.O. Bibble. So, you can find me at Ken Napzok. That includes YouTube. My channel's always been up and running, but now it's a little bit more running. You can check out my Motivations with Ken videos there.
That is right. You can also check out Tony Thaxton, who wrote the great theme music for Databank Brawl and many other shows here on the ForceCenter podcast network feed. You can check out his Patreon, where he writes great Star Wars music. That is Cloud City soundtrack. We are building to a goal of getting 500 ratings and reviews on iTunes and Apple's podcast, one in the same. When we get to that level, that goal, we will do a special episode with big main characters of Star Wars fighting on Databank Brawl. Of course, we have our Patreon. That's patreon.com/ForceCenter. You can check out our merch at tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter. You can find Databank Brawl episodes on YouTube with some great additional graphics added by Jennifer Landa. You can check out my podcast, Obsessed, and all my comedy shows and info on my website at josephscrimshaw.com. I know my own name. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram is at Joseph Scrimshaw. You can like ForceCenter on Facebook and follow us on Twitter is at ForceCenterPod. And until next time, as Luke Skywalker once said, well, no one was really listening to him. I care. That's it for Databank Brawl.